Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. This is Joe Shoup with our manager, Shirley Pitts, and our very, very, very special guest today, Dawn Clifton. Good morning, Dawn.
Good morning, Joe. Thank you. You're so sweet.
Good morning, Shirley.
Good morning, Joe.
All right. Well, we're going to get right to this. I'm going to do something a little different today. I wanted to invite Dawn for a couple of reasons. One, she's very smart and has a great background in I'm going to say communications and her technical background. Dawn, I think you'll explain to people. But from what I got, when I got to know Dawn, I could see that that this was somebody who was, number one, was intelligent, who was realized that it's going to take some work here in this industry to make money. And I think we had a long discussion about that. But she's got a great technical background in computers and teaches a class on Monday nights. And so we're going to have her back next week, just so you know, and we'll cover that a little bit later. But Dawn, once again, welcome to the Breakfast Club, and thanks for being here. And I want to just ask you a few questions. We're going to do something a little different. I'm really going to conduct an interview with you. And here's why. Okay. We go back in history and we find out that for the last 70 years, statistics show that 97% of the people in this industry, which is the direct sales, home business, network marketing, MLM, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we've all been involved in these companies, and I just wanted to have a down-to-earth talk with you. Forget about the audience, forget about people listening. I just want to have this talk, and the reason for it is this is a story that is very similar throughout the MLM and home business arena. It's just a similar story. And what's mind-boggling to me is we hear that number, 97% of the people are not happy, and that may be because they're not making money in this industry or enough money to cover expenses. So they're not getting in the black. And it's mind-boggling that we have so many companies out there and they win, they thrive, and yet the people who are responsible for bringing the sales and creating those transactions aren't making the money. I mean, it seems almost impossible, doesn't it?
It does. And I'm shocked that it's 97%. I did not realize that. That makes me feel a whole lot better, honestly, that it's not me.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. And I go back in the industry and think about this for a minute. How long have you been in the industry? How long ago did you say, this is the first MLM I'm going to do?
It was 20 years ago. And at the time, I didn't know it was MLM. That word was not known. I just wanted to do it for the products, and I wanted to do it to make a little extra money from home. But you didn't know what it was called. All
right. Before we get into that, though, let's do this. Tell us about your background. Tell us what you do now. And I know you have a tremendously heavy schedule. So tell us what you do. Tell us about yourself.
So currently, right now, I'm working for a funny motivational speaker out of Denver. And basically, I'm his right-hand person. He travels the world and speaks, and I do everything else. So running the office, doing his database, doing his web design, his blog. Keeping up with all the clients and all of that stuff. So that's what I've been doing for 3.5 years, and it's a lot of fun, and I get to do it from home, which I love. But previous to that, I was in corporate America. I was a database administrator, a reporting person, web development, coding, all of that kind of stuff for a couple of companies, NYK Logistics and Mega Carrier, which is out of Japan, and Federal Express, and I started at the Internal Revenue Service many years ago.
An IRS person, huh? Good thing I behaved. All right, so here you are in that industry, and all of a sudden now somebody obviously brings something to you 20 years ago and said, take a look at this. What was that, and what was your first impression?
Well, it was Creative Memories, which is a scrapbooking company. They're no longer in existence. They switched over to another company name. They went bankrupt, actually. But I really did it because I loved crafting. It was just kind of a hobby for me. I got in it as a hobby. Then you kind of realize, hey, you can make money at this if you work it. Well, I never was able to do that. I did that, and actually I've been in Creative Memories the whole time because I love the products and I still scrapbook. It's just a hobby.
Wow. So you're
Yeah,
still with
so
that
that's
company. You're still with that company, Dawn, right?
Just as a hobby.
It's amazing. This will tell you why the companies are still making money and thriving, because the average person does exactly what you just said. And guess what? I am still with a company from many, many years ago. I mean, I really am. And I don't do anything with them. It's just that my check comes in and I'm fine. And that's what they bank on. Yeah, it's mind-boggling to me that takes place. All right. So what about your second company? So what made you leave there, and what about your second company?
Well, I haven't really left there, but I was never making any money. So in 2010, I founded a savings blog here in Denver for local families in the area, and basically just wanted to help people save money. I had been a single mom. I struggled. I did a lot of couponing. I learned how to do that. So I wanted to teach other people how to save money wherever they could. So I started that, and out of that, I got a really big following on Pinterest. It was huge, and it was totally accidental. So I didn't know how to monetize that, though. I didn't have a clue what that meant. And so I had all this over here and set up and ready, but I didn't know what to do with it. But I needed money. Scrambling and looking for every other opportunity that I could find, something I could do from home. I had a little boy, he's 7 now, and he was diagnosed autistic. So I really needed to stay home for him if at all possible. And luckily I've been able to do that with, just various freelance work and things like that. I've been able to stay home. So, but I joined companies because I really believed that that was the way to go, that I could make the big money in some of these really big companies that were good and their products were good and they had a huge number of representatives across the world. And I thought, well, that's what I need to do. And no, has not worked out for me.
So what do you think? Why? What were you told? Let's just go there. Here we are now. And again, this is typical. Someone comes to you and then you're all charged about the company and it's going to do this and all this inspirational talk and wonderful stuff. So what happens? What happens and what changes that and what makes it go, the opposite of maybe what you were expecting?
Sure. So you get in and say you pay the $500, which is really hard to do, but you figure out a way and you do it. And that's what I did because I believed in it. And so you get in and you follow them and you listen to everything they say and you do everything they tell you to do because they sit there and tell you, well, you have to do this exactly and you have to multiply this many, many times and you'll be successful. So you do that. You do everything you're told to do. You read their books, you do their training, you do whatever it takes. And then you slowly but surely start building this team and you come to realize that you're not going to make any money on customer sales. Nobody's going to buy your product. But if you build this humongous team and teach them how to do that, you'll make a lot of money because you get commissions on them. You get bonuses for bringing them in. It's just, that's where the money is.
Yeah.
So you build that team. And for me, it was accidental because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I don't know how to build a team. Nobody ever taught me how to do that. They would always say to me, well, you need to get them on a three-way because that's the way to bring them in. We'll edify you. You can edify me and I'll close the deal. Okay, super. That sounds easy enough.
Right.
I didn't have a clue how to get them on that three-way call. Nobody would join me on a three-way. They would all back up and say, no, I'm not comfortable doing that. Or I don't know what that's about. Or why are you doing that? Why do you want to do that? I didn't know the answers to that. So I never, in 7, 8 years, I never got anybody on a three-way. Never. Nobody would tell me how to do it.
So, all right. So, and by the way, again, this story is important because there's people out there shaking their head, and they will be when they listen to this on YouTube and so on, because it's the same story that keeps going around. I don't know how it keeps happening, but it's the same story. Just go ahead, get them on with me, and I'll do it for you. And you find out that the person on that three-way, even if you got them there, weren't qualified. All they're going to do is say how wonderful the company is and that, boy, you should really join us. That is, from my experience in 23 years, that's the theme. That's the topic that goes on in those three-ways, because they're not qualified to do the three-way. They don't know what it's like to be a business person to make that happen. And that's, the direction I went in. I was very similar to you in the beginning. I didn't know what I was doing. And fortunately, I was around some very, very sharp people who I could see were no nonsense business people. And that's what it's going to take for people. All right, so here you are now. You go to the next company. And so how long did you stay with them before you decided that's it?
I actually stayed with them for 4 years.
Wow. There you go again. Were you buying product?
I had to. To stay active, I had to spend the $80 a month on my own product to stay an active member. Now, I didn't make $80 a month for my own product, that was really hard.
Well, let's multiply that. Let's pretend for a minute that it's not $80. Let's say it's $60 a month that you were spending. That's let's just round that off to $800 a year, $800 a year for 4 years. That's $3,200 spent on hopes and dreams, believing you could get the job done. Absolutely. Because that's what they kept telling you. Even when you faltered and went back and said, "Oh, I don't know," you probably got another pep talk, right?
Oh yes, lots of pep talks. Yes, absolutely. They reel you in and they keep you. They just keep encouraging you and, oh, you can do this. I was in the same boat. I was in the same place you were. And look at me now. I have a team of 10,000 and you can do this. I'll help you. I'll bring people in under you. I'll lift you up. Never happened. Never happened. Broken promises left and right.
So why do you think that is, Dawn? What do you think's going on? And I have an opinion about it. I'm sure you're a business person. You understand business, obviously. But what do you think the problem is? All these years, 70 years of the same thing and nothing's changing. I know you went through my class. I know that. We'll talk about that. But just look at this from a business standpoint. How in the world could this possibly be so with all of these people? Now, you figure out, I did a little math in my head last night. 3% of 100 is 3 people. 3% of 1,000 is 30 people, and 3% of 10,000 is 300 people. Now, you take 10,000, let's just go down to 2,000. 2,000 people in a company means that 60 people. 60 people are actually making money, and who knows what that amount is, but they're above the line, okay? They're now in the black. Went from red, they're in the black, maybe from the beginning. 60 people out of what did I say? 2,000. 60. Mm-hmm. It's mind-boggling to me that continues to be okay and the industry thrive with a new one. We get new opportunities thrown at us day after day, and I just don't look at it, most of them anymore, because it's not easy to build a team of people because you need duplication. And what are you going to duplicate if what you said is true, that said, I didn't know what to do and they didn't teach me? How would you duplicate?
Right. Well, that's what you do. You duplicate what you know and what you have. And then when you bring in that team of people, and, I brought people in from the UK, and they were the first people in the UK in my company. And I was thrilled. And I thought I had finally made it. Oh my gosh, I've done it. I have reached another country that we're not even in yet, and I've brought people in, and they're going to take it by the reins, and they're just going to run with it, and they're going to get that whole country involved, and I'm going to finally make some money.
So when you were bringing people into that particular company, were you getting help and doing Threeways? Were you able to do them at that point? You still didn't have it.
Still didn't have it. The one thing that was different with that company is the leaders actually, because I had went to them and told them that, hey, there's some people in the UK that are interested. I don't really know how to talk to them. I don't really know what it's going to take to get them in. Would you do that? And they said, absolutely. So we actually got on a Zoom call with them and the people in the UK, and they brought them in. Now, they told them the same thing that they told me. You know, this is a great company. You're going to make a lot of money. We're going to help you. We're going to help you build in that country. We're going to get you going. Well, after a month or two of them not making a dime, they quit. That's what they do. You know, everybody's going to jump to the next thing because they're not earning like you promised they would. I didn't know how to keep them, you know?
Yep. Well, there's solutions to this. I sat back and, you know, I always thought to myself, why is this statistic so high? Why? That's the real question. Why is it happening? And some of the reasons, there's more than one reason. Sometimes it's the company. Sometimes, you know, it's just, you know, it's not maybe not a great product, or maybe the competition is too big. I don't know. But I have found in the 22 years that I've been here, being around different types of people, leaders, and owners, I honestly, and everybody knows because we talk about communication all the time, I really believe that one of the biggest problems that stands out is the communication education in this industry is horrible. They don't teach you what you said you didn't get, right? Which was, nobody helped me. They didn't tell me how to do it. They just get on a three-way. Well, that's great. That's great. But, you know, since most people are kind of afraid to pick up the phone anyway, how in the world are you going to get them without any roadmap, without any language, any questions, any type of preparation? Now, you said earlier you like to be prepared, right? How, if you're not prepared here, you pick up that phone. If you're not prepared, imagine the terror that can happen. Not only you're afraid to make the call, now you have a question come up that you don't know how to handle. There's an embarrassment, and you're trying to get out of it somehow by saying, I'll just get somebody else. And then they go, no, I only want to talk to you. I mean, that stuff actually happens, and it's not taught in this industry. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it happened to me all the time. I didn't have a problem getting on the phone because I'm on the phone all day for my job. So that wasn't a big deal to me. But I didn't have a clue what to say to these people. I didn't know how in the world I was going to answer their questions if they asked me, you know, the simple questions like, well, how much do you make? Oh my gosh, I don't want to tell them that. I'm not making anything. So what do you say? You know, it was scary as heck.
All right, so let's move forward now to Cooler Brands. Let's jump up there. Somebody introduces you to Cooler Brands. And how long ago was that?
That was in April.
Okay. Founding member. And so you're with Cooler Brands. And the excitement of Cooler Brands for me, Dawn, was the fact that truly you don't have to sell or recruit to make money here. It's a true business that says, hey, I can make money by helping other people. We know that we help inventors. People come to us and say, I have an invention. We look at it as a community. We look at it and make that decision whether or not this is a product that we think we could help support financially and marketing, branding, and sales. Could we do that with our community and bring that to the marketplace? And we make that decision by saying yes and make commitments, which we call pre-pledge. And that's what happens. So, but here's a lot of my people, Dawn, came in because they were in that same boat. Never have made money, right? But I mean, they've made some money, but most of them not. Most of them said, well, what do you mean? I don't have to recruit or sell and I can do it. And once it's explained to them that by just financially helping the inventor, you can receive royalties just like he does. So that was very intriguing to me. So I think, you know, talk a little bit about your entry into Cooler Brands and the fact that that selling recruiting wasn't necessary.
Oh yeah, that was key for me because in every company I'd ever been involved in and worked from home, I had to recruit to make money. I had to sell something every single month and a lot of it to make any money. And here I didn't. So it was so freeing and I could just let go and I could just do my thing and I could make royalties on my own actions. I didn't have to worry about my team. If they quit on me, I didn't care. I didn't even want a team. I do have a team, and at first it was my whole family because they saw what I was doing and they've been in the same boat. They've been in, you know, jumping from company to company, not making anything. So they saw this and it was easy. I didn't have to convince them or anything, and I wouldn't want to convince anyone anyway. but they really saw that this was very different and they liked it too, so they joined me. So it all started as just a family thing, big family affair. But I was in the same boat. I wanted to recruit because I wanted to help other people, knowing that I wasn't really going to make a lot of money by having a team. That was very different, and I loved that. But I still had that desire to help so many people with this and let them see this. But I was still in the same boat. I didn't know how to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, because I mean, this is we love Cooler Brands, and I still say that, you know, we're in the position that we need to educate our people on, you know, so many things, and social media, things that you do on Monday night, and, you know, these other classes that go on. I believe people have to know social media, and I'm not big on it, as you know. I'm not educated enough in that area. I have relied my whole career on contacts and building lists and being able to talk to people, but the average person hasn't done that. They can't call up 60 people and say, join me in this, you know, a handful maybe. Our goal is to make sure that everybody can get 20. Can they get 20 people? And, you know, at that point, create the transactions we need. And so, but again, we're back to this for Cooler Brands, is that we don't have to recruit another sale. Now, you're going to make more money if you do it, if you do that and do build a team of people who are supporting these projects, and maybe finding other people and recruiting themselves. We call it influencing here. It's a pretty big word in the industry now. I see that all over the place. But let's talk about, Dawn. You came and you built a little team, and I know we're leading up to the fact that Dawn is a grad of a communication class. So let's talk about that a little bit. What prompted you? How did you find out about that? What was going on prior to the class, and what's going on now?
Sure. So like I said, most of the people that I recruited were family. So that was really easy. I didn't really have to have the same approach to them at all. You know, they're family. They're going to listen to me. But when it came to like talking to people that I would encounter on Facebook, for example, I still didn't know what to say to them. You know, I knew enough to know that you don't want to tell them everything. You don't want to vomit all over them. I've heard that a lot. But then if I can't share with them everything, then what am I going to share with them? I don't even know. I don't know, you know? So the videos and the tools we have are amazing. And I've always believed in using those. You know, don't try to reinvent the wheel. The tools we have are incredible. So just share the tools, share the video. They'll see it or they won't, which is what I did. I saw it immediately, jumped in. They'll be the same way. So I just kind of went with that, and that's where I've been until I took your class. And when I took your class, it was really amazing for me because it was the first time that somebody actually told me exactly what to do, what to say, and how to do it. And nobody had ever done that for me before. So since then, it's been really refreshing. I don't have to convince anyone. You've really kind of drilled that home. It's not our job. Our job is to, you know, weed out the people who wouldn't be a good fit. It's crucial for me because I was wasting so much time trying to convince people what this was and how great it was, and it was so different than everything else. That's not my job. I just need to weed out those people who won't ever see the vision.
So you know how to weed out now? You know pretty much how to weed out now, right?
Yes, that is huge for me. I wasted so much time, and now I don't have to. You know, that's big.
So what about, now we know this, it happens for everybody. You mentioned it earlier, questions come up, and they'll ask you everything from, like you said, are you getting paid? Or how much money have you made? Or how long have you been with the company? And all these questions. Is this a pyramid? And why don't you tell me a little bit more? Why don't you tell me about your company? Am I going to make money? Is this legitimate? All these questions come up for everybody at some point. And so now, what's the difference now between, you know, let's say 5 months ago, a couple of months ago even, you've had the class now for probably 6 weeks, I think it's been something like that. But So what's the difference in that kind of thinking? If somebody, in other words, if somebody asks you now, is this a pyramid? I mean, you're prepared for that, correct?
I hope so. I still have a lot of training to do, but I would hope that I could get around that question. And it's not a trick. I don't want to say a trick.
Yeah.
But it's just a really cool tip of not be flustered when that question comes up now, and that's big. I was so flustered before, and I would get so nervous and I wouldn't know what to say. But now I don't get flustered at all because I know those questions are coming, and they come every single time. And I know to handle those in the same exact way. It doesn't matter what the question is. I'm going to handle it the same. That is a big deal, you know?
That's one of the reasons I wanted you on today, is because you've said that to me before, is now I'm prepared. You know, there's no fear of that question coming up because we know that that question is in stone. There's a proper way to answer that. And the key to it is the technique in order to get back to the objective, which we know is finding out, is this an interested party? I'm sifting and I'm going to find out if this person really is going to work out for me. And that's what we have to keep in mind. We have to make sure that we're doing the sifting. We're the ones who are making the decision of whether this person really will be a fit. Yeah, they'll all want royalties. Yeah, they'll all want to, you know, participate maybe in helping. But is it really a fit for you? Are they going to come in and say, okay, I really want to help the inventors? Great, that's perfect. We're okay with that. That's somebody kind of in our customer base now. That's fantastic that they do it. But if the person says, I want to learn how to do this, now you have a roadmap, right?
Right. Yeah, that's critical. It really is.
So in our welcome to coolerbrands.com website, in there, it actually lists a bunch of things in there that for the person to get started with, and asking them, are you just going to do this, or are you going to do that, or do you want to help build, and so on. And that's really questions that maybe you and your new person need to go through to find out whether or not you have to spend time with that person. If they're going to be a builder, then you'll spend more time than you are with somebody that says, no, I'm just going to help and pledge on products. That's what we're going to do. So I wanted to make sure that people understood that. Let's just tell us now. I mean, I know you said this, but let's go kind of a final thing on where you were, where you are now, how comfortable you are with these things. And I know we work together during the week as well and continue to help with other questions that might come up. But let's talk about that, and, you know, really how comfortable you do feel about the activity, because that's what this is about. This whole business is about activity. And, you know, if you don't know what activity you're supposed to be performing, you can't possibly get ahead. So let's just talk about where you're going now and the comfort level you're at.
Oh, sure. So after taking your class, I mean, the one thing that I gained the most was confidence. I never had confidence before to even talk to a single person. So that was really big for me, because now I have the confidence. I know that anybody that either finds me on social media or anybody that I may reach out to, I know I have the same roadmap. I know I can talk to them the same exact way I talk to everyone. There's no difference. And I know the steps that I'm going to take with that person, and it's going to be the same every time. That is duplicatable to me, and I never had anything duplicatable before. So that's really amazing for me. In December, just December, I brought in 3 more people, and I never imagined doing that. And these are people I did not know. You know, these are people on Facebook who either saw a post, or maybe I reached out to them because I've known them in direct sales for a long time, or what have you. But that was a big deal, you know, to bring in people other than my family.
Well, and 3 people.
And now,
3 people. I mean, that's, you know, I am so happy for you. I'm so glad that I got to meet you personally like this. I know it was Colleen who introduced us, to be honest with you. She wanted to make sure that we were starting some classes during the week, and she wanted you to be a part of that. So I'm thrilled that she did that, and I'm thrilled that she's a part of it. And I just want to thank you for coming here, because I think if people listen to this, Dawn, and say, yeah, that was me, that was me, that was me, what can I do about it? there is something to do about it. And so anyway, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being a team member, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your input on Wednesday nights. And actually, she helped with some scripts recently. We just got them over to our coordinator, Vicky, who does all that. And we're going to be, it looks like today we'll be putting those together, and we'll have some more little questions and answers that you helped with. How about that?
Thank you. That's awesome. And thank you so much for what you do. I would not be this confident and this, what you taught me was incredible and invaluable. And I don't know I can't even thank you enough, really, for what you've done.
Well, I thank you for putting the time and effort into that and understanding. And that's the key to it. When I realized how much you understood about this in the last couple of weeks, I thought, oh my gosh, you're going to go places with this. As long as you keep this up, it takes activity, because we can't determine the result. We can only get the activity. That's it. That's all we can determine is our own activity. So thank you for being here on the Breakfast Club. We love you. I appreciate you being here. And it looks like what we want to do, I've talked to Dawn about this, it looks like possibly next Tuesday, you could return and do a social media class for us here at the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I would love for Deborah to come with me.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, last night tremendously, and it wasn't my call, it was our call, and she really was a huge part of that. So I would want her to do that too.
Okay, no problem. We'll have Ladies Week next week. How's that?
Awesome.
All right. All right. Well, again, thanks for being here. Thanks everybody for tuning in here. Shirley, thanks as always for being our coordinator and our manager here. And have a great day, everybody. We'll see you. Don't forget, tomorrow night we have the call with Cooler Brands, the opportunity call, so to speak. And then the Thursday night is members only. So make sure that you attend those, and we'll see you next week on the Breakfast Club. Have a wonderful day. Thanks again.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.